Raise your hand if you have a mile-long Paralives wish list. I'm sensing a lot of hands. We all have once. Okay, how about this? Keep your hand raised if you've only shared a fraction of that list because you're nervous about coming off too strong. Is it just me, or do you hesitate to request anything because you know the developers see hundreds of requests daily? I've been playing life sims for years, so I have tons of wants that range from small, minute details that have nothing to do with gameplay, just vibes, to overly complex, stacked gameplay systems that would be too much even for a large developer. I can go on all day if you give me the time. I don't, since the devs have a lot on their plate already, yet I know how silly this is because this is exactly what they want. The team has made it so clear they want us to share what we want to see in Paralives. For one, they know how to delegate the possible from the impossible. Two, they never set the expectation every little request could or should be added. And three, I wouldn't be surprised if they had an unreleased timeline of what's coming within the next year. Even if I were to come up with the most impossible feature, the worst they could say is no. Imagine if they said worse than no. Imagine if they used me as an example and was like, this person does too much. Don't be this person. I would die. If you can relate to this, then we all can use this video as our safe space to really go in and list what we truly want to see come to Paralives. Like I said, essays are welcome in the comments. Matter of fact, all of you are being graded. Papers are due on Monday, or whenever I decide to post if I'm procrastinating on a script. Regardless, you know what to do. Also, if you're normal and don't put yourself through all these mental gymnastics, your wish list is welcome as well. I want to hear it all. I, however, am going to set some guidelines for myself. If not, this will be one of those 10-hour-long videos. Though I did see many of you are down for longer videos, I've tossed the idea around a little more and I've decided we're going to progressively work up to hour-long videos, basically slowly condition you to hearing me talk for prolonged periods of time. For two main reasons. I'm really trying to make it a past habit to disappear for months at a time, and writing a long script is an easy way to do that. And I don't want to kill the channel. Baby steps for this little community we're forming here. Let's keep it cute, fun, and casual for now. I'm having a fun time making these videos, so in due time, prepare to be sick of me. Okay, so this is how this video is going to play out. Rule 1, I will only make requests that are related to confirmed features. Doing so will make it easier to expand and evolve on what is already possible. Keeps us in the realm of reason, and hopefully this is the road Paralives eventually goes down anyway. Rule 2, then I will rate said requests on a scale of 1 through 4 on how likely it could be added to the game. Honestly, a girl can dream, but let's just see how realistic those dreams are. 1 being not likely, 1 step up from impossible, but wouldn't be surprised if the devs decided against it. 2 being somewhat likely, a possibility but not a priority, a feature we could see come sometime after the release of the full game. 3 being likely, they definitely have this written down somewhere. If not, the foundation to develop is there. They just need player demand. And 4 being very likely, might as well be confirmed, just waiting on when and where they'll announce it. Now these are just a few of my top most wanted features, so I really want to know, are any of these realistic? Or do they even match the vibe of Paralives? I'm rating these on how likely, and soon we could see something like this. I could be wrong, so feel free to correct or yes and me in the comments. Y'all get it, sometimes we just need a little validation on our dreams. Creating multiple outfits for your paras is a feature that's currently in progress. Hopefully this means we can see outfits like sleepwear and formal during early access. What if our households shared a closet? Yes, like The Sims 2, what if after we use Paramaker to create our characters, in-game we no longer have access to all clothing options. Instead, we use dressers and closets with their own inventories containing our initial outfit. If we want more, you'll have to go into town and shop for more clothes. Any excuse for immersive gameplay is one I have to have. The realistic system will set up so many stories, like starting a legacy with one bad outfit while homeless. If your para works hard enough, then they can eventually afford a decent wardrobe and a humble starter home. Also, if the closet inventory is available for the household, you can pass on hand-me-downs to younger generations or trade clothes between siblings. I would eat this up. Easily would be a favorite, but how likely would it be to see something like this in game? If I'm being real, it's giving a 1, not likely. The reason I say this is if the team is already working on creating multiple outfits, they probably have decided on how Paramaker is going to work in live mode. I've only seen comments claiming shopping for clothes is confirmed, and I can't find an official statement anywhere. If anyone knows where, please prove me wrong. I've never never wanted to be more wrong. The ability to open Paramaker while in live mode doesn't give me high hopes either. Now, not likely does not mean impossible. I think with more demand, we could see something like this come in a future update. I have a feeling after the groundwork is finished for Paralives, the developers might surprise us when we make it out of early access and the real fun starts. I know gameplay is the focus, but seeing tools to create custom towns makes me overly confident in how Paralives in the next 2 to 3 years is going to feel like smaller games all in one larger title. With how detailed build mode and Paramaker are at this stage, I don't know how I'm going to make it out to even see live mode. Creating custom worlds is an easy time sink if you're not careful. Yet what if the parafolk in a new or existing world could work to improve their neighborhood through gameplay? Imagine this. You get the best idea to create a small town, a couple of starter homes, and a few community lots. You create the founding households to move into the new development, hoping to transform the town from humble beginnings. How can this even be accomplished through gameplay? Well, the neighborhood could plan fundraising events that raises money for new lots and homes. There could be a reputation system with stats and challenges to level up your town. And of course, the taxes your parents pay could be pulled into a town fund, which is how you'll be able to create new additions to your world. Obviously, this is a very ambitious feature, so if I were to rate it, I would give it a 2, somewhat likely. The devs are still in the early stages of creating tools for custom worlds, so I wouldn't count on this feature coming in the next year at least. Yet being in the early stages comes with both cons and pros. We still have room for Paralives Studios to think about a neighborhood progression system and see how this could convey in gameplay. I've discovered before their habit for gameplay is to make it simple, make it real, and make it cozy. The team has proven themselves enough to know if you give them time, they can take the most ambitious ideas and make it possible. Gaining skills is going to be one of the few core gameplay features available at the start of early access. Having general skills with many sub-skills was a smart way to leave the door open for future gameplay opportunities. What if one of those gameplay opportunities is to discover a hidden talent? To stack some storytelling on top of that, after your para discovered their hidden talent, they could either accept, reject, or completely ignore their talent. And wait for it, what if this was player's choice? When a talent is discovered, the player is presented with a pop-up asking you what choice you would like your para to make. You can choose between loving their talent, hating it, or doing everything they can to hide this new discovery. And because I can't help myself, why not throw in a choose for me option, where the game will decide based on percentages of how likely an option aligns with your para's personality. For those who love to let your characters decide, this one's for you and me because I'm obsessed with this idea. This is one of the features I'll easily give a solid 4. Very likely. For one, the gameplay systems to make this work are already present in other areas. Pop-up cards, the skill system of course, and social interactions have percentages of how successful they could be. The groundwork is there, all we need is player interest. If enough people want it, I think the team can make something work. The only point keeping this possibility from becoming a guarantee is hidden talents are not a confirmed feature, not publicly at least. I won't say more on that, instead I'll direct you to their Patreon. There are a lot of private posts there that I've been itching to talk about. The day they make those posts public is the day you'll become sick of this channel. That's the only guarantee I can make. Alright, I lied, kind of. I said I would only make requests related to confirmed features. This next one isn't exactly confirmed, but you'll see why it's on my most wanted list in a minute. I've never been the biggest fan of supernaturals, never dived too deep into that part of life simulation. The most I've done is a one-time save to play it for once, which is always fun but ends up being a palate cleanser until I create a new main save. Don't love them, don't hate them, and I barely use them, yet I know there's a large number of players who do. Maybe I don't share that same obsession because something about the archetypes of occults we're familiar with don't appeal to me. What if Paralives completely remix the concept of supernaturals in a life sim? One thing Paralives loves to do is take a common feature and reinvent in unpredictable ways. They could introduce never before seen occults. The fantasy world is vast and wide open with inspiration. There's got to be something that fits in with the warm, grounded, and cottage style vibes. New occults isn't the only option. What about adding in supernatural elements from fantasy? This could be mystical towns, mythical creatures, or uncanny mysteries Paris could solve. Paralives will be the perfect life sim to redefine what players expect from supernatural gameplay. Despite this being the only unconfirmed feature, I actually think this is pretty likely, a solid 3. Supernaturals is the one and only feature listed under the consideration tab. The team have mentioned tons of features they are currently considering, but this is the only one present on their website, and I believe for good reason. I'm only speculating, but the choice to have supernaturals listed on their website could mean this is something that they do plan to add to Paralives, but they could have a few roadblocks on how. It makes sense they're still at the drawing board on how to make fantastical gameplay work in Paralives. With the game's current aesthetics, vampires, fairies, and witches as we know them could be pretty immersion breaking. Still, Paralives Studios has proven time and time again, with enough time and resources, they'll turn the most recognizable features into the most unique and impressive gameplay experience. Did I do it? Did I make a wish list without sounding ridiculous? I don't know, but my fear of making any requests at all is a bit ridiculous. Someone please validate me in the comments. I just feel so bad, you know? The thing is, you shouldn't feel bad. It defeats the entire purpose of Paralives, a game made for the community by the community. Because of that, essays are now due. There's only a 1-word minimum, but there's extra points if you really go in on your wildest dreams of what you want to see in Paralives.